Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service this morning, and we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, as well as D&M Roofing and Siding. You will not find another show in the metro area that talks about what we talk about, and that's business, construction, real estate, economic development, fun things for people who like to work hard and are proud of the city in which they live. And speaking of guys that are proud of the city in which they live, my co-host sitting right next to me, the legendary real estate deal maker, is Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff.
Well, good morning to you. You know, we're getting close to the holidays, and so, people are in a good mood, but it's also a time in which people are scrambling to get things done, and so it's crazy season. The next 6 weeks are going to go by faster than lightning.
Absolutely. I think the summer went really fast as well, and the fall's here, and the winter's...
Well, lately it's felt like the winter's been here, but that's supposed to get better here in the next few days. We're supposed to go back to some more seasonal mild temperatures. But I tell you, folks, if you want to keep up with what we talk about on Grow Omaha when we're not on the air, all you have to do is go to growomaha.com. When you're there, click on Market Report. Once you do that, you'll have access to every single digital newspaper that we have ever done. They come out every Thursday afternoon, and if you want it delivered to your inbox, all you have to do is fill out your name and email address in the little blank that's right there. So growomaha.com, click on Market Report. While you're there, you can also check out the Brad Williams construction video. If you want to see that, just go to shows on the navigation bar and then click on construction video. That we'll talk Trenton later about some of the projects that were in that construction video, but it's really good this month.
Traffic on our website, that has been incredible. It's a free service. We have wonderful sponsors that bring that information to you that's timely. Everybody wants to know what's going on, what restaurants are coming, what retailers are coming, who's moving, and what new entertainment facilities are coming to the metro.
And we've got all of that. Well, let's talk about this week, and that's the news of the week. It's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage knows mortgages. They've known mortgages for decades. They've been in the business for more than 30 years, and they will help you with FHA, VA, or conventional loans. Trent and I are constantly recommending people who are thinking about buying a house, go talk to Holly Schneiderwind and her team at Eagle Mortgage, because they'll take good care of you. They tend to save borrowers a lot of money compared to those who go through some of the more traditional lending methods when it comes to buying a house. FHA, VA, conventional loans, you can stop by in person at 114th and Davenport, or find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Well, Trenton, the big news this week was a really encouraging construction project for our community that's on the docket. Looks like Children's Hospital and Medical Center, along with some key partners, will be constructing a major pediatric mental health hospital.
$89 million.
That is not a small facility. It's going to be 103,000 square feet.
In the perfect location in the center of Omaha, next to Children's Hospital.
Yeah, the actual spot will be 8501 Dodge Street. That is where a building was recently demolished. The building most recently housed offices. Before that, it was the home for Nebraska Methodist College. It was kind of where a lot of the nursing students and allied health students worked and lived. And then before that, it was a hotel back in the 1960s. So that area has been cleared. And this hospital is going to have some very unique things. Number one, 38 inpatient beds, which is actually quite a bit. A pediatric mental health urgent care center, a behavioral health emergency assessment center, an expanded partial hospitalization program, and a pediatric primary care clinic with outpatient mental health services. Trent and I was talking off the record with a children's hospital physician recently, and this physician said a building like this, a facility like this, is going to be bigger than what you would think a city like Omaha would have.
We'll take it. I'm sure we'll get a lot of families coming from other places.
Yeah, and there's been such a shortage of pediatric mental health care services in this community, just like is the case in almost every community. Now, for some of you that might be thinking, hey, didn't we hear about something with pediatric mental health hospital in the past? Yes, there was some talk, maybe about a year ago. The philanthropic community was looking at doing a $50 million facility somewhere around Emmanuel Health Center. Well, the plans have changed, and it makes, everyone has said, a lot more sense for this to be at Children's. And from what we're hearing, a lot of the other healthcare provider organizations in the area will be helping, partnering, or contributing to
Boys
this.
Town and others.
Yeah, so projected to open in 2025, which is not terribly far away. So let's talk about the streetcar, and everyone's getting excited about this. A heck of a lot of work that goes into getting ready to start this streetcar construction. Construction won't begin until 2024, but so many moving parts and pieces are being taken care of now. Couple pieces of progress this last week. One, the new Streetcar Authority has identified 8th and Capitol Avenue, some land near 8th and Capitol Avenue, as a possible site for the maintenance building. You get this streetcar, you have to have a place to maintain them, clean them
up,
take care of them. And it looks like that's going to be in that area. Now, if you look at the area in the map, it's right kind of in the shadow of the Interstate 480 viaduct. So, it's my understanding that it's already city-owned land, or maybe Mecca controls it. And if you look at the map, it looks like it might be part of a parking lot that's kind of on the southeast side of the CHI Health Center, Omaha.
So it's a good location for it.
And it'll be right on the track. You know, the track's going to run from about the CHI Health Center along the 10th and 8th Street corridors down to Farnham, from Farnham out through Midtown Crossing and University of Nebraska Medical Center, back on Harney through downtown Old Market back to 10th Street. So altogether, it'll have a little over 6 miles of track, but it'll only be a 3.1 mile route because some of it will be double tracked on different streets. And so that's coming along. Also, we found out that the Omaha streetcar system will likely require 6 actual vehicles. So 6 streetcar vehicles. My guess is you would probably have a few of them running at any time, and maybe 1 or 2 in backup, and maybe in the aforementioned maintenance facility or what have you. Other streetcar news. Council Bluffs Mayor Matt Walsh recently delivered his State of the City address for Council Bluffs, and he said that he and the city are working on a plan quite actively to extend Omaha's future streetcar into Council Bluffs. So the preliminary plans call for it to cross the Missouri River immediately south of the Interstate 480 bridge, so it would require the construction of a new bridge. It would land in Council Bluffs at what is now NP Dodge Park. That park would be converted into a major mixed-use development. The streetcar would go through that, and then it would go toward the east about a block south of Broadway. There's an old abandoned railroad right-of-way there that has become a trail, and the thought is you could run it there. I think it's a great idea. Now, they would use federal funding for this, and then also they have received an estimate from a real estate development company that they could sell NP Dodge Park for about $52 million, which would cover part of the cost.
Right. This is the most major development of connecting. You know, we're connected in many ways with Council Bluffs, between Council Bluffs and Omaha, but since the pedestrian bridge, where we see a lot of activity, we saw the Riverfront Park over there. This would be a major advancement in the connection of the two cities.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Trenton. And it's something, frankly, that I think Council Bluffs needs, because if you look at the last few decades, the growth rate in Council Bluffs has been terribly small. I mean, we need Council Bluffs growing more in order to, be good for the metro area. I think this would be a real shot in the arm for Council Bluffs. It'd be good for Omaha too. But I mean, to give you an idea, Bellevue is a bigger city than Council Bluffs. And a lot of people don't realize that Bellevue has more population than Council Bluffs. And yet Council Bluffs is the old, city in the metro. I mean, it was a city before Omaha was a city. So we need to get some growth in there, and something like this could really, really help CB quite a bit. And then it'd be awesome for people that, live in one city and work in the other, and be able to transfer back and forth. So we'll keep our eye on that. All right, talking about a couple other news items that are on the docket. The Omaha City Council approved a planned $40 million apartment development near 168th and Shirley Street. If you're not sure where Shirley Street is, it's between Pacific and Center. So this would be just on the west side of 168th and Shirley.
Kind of a sloped land in front of a neighborhood to the west.
Yeah.
I drive by that all the time.
Yeah, it would be on your route, probably between home and work. So it's a classic infill. You know, that neighborhood has been there a lot longer than most of the other neighborhoods in West Omaha, and that just was kind of like a little orphaned piece. So looks like 194 units in 6 residential buildings plus the typical pool facility.
Typical infill, though, it doesn't put a lot more stress on infrastructure and utilities and things like that. Some of the neighbors may not be happy with the view and things like that, but it's a quality project.
Show me a development project where the neighbors are ever happy about something going in right next to their houses. It just seems
it's change, and then they have to adapt and hope it's for the better.
It's just funny though how like a lot of people just like get all worked up about the controversy of that 180th and Maple Costco and all that. I'm like, do people actually move into a house next to an open field along a major arterial and think it's going to stay an open field for the rest of their lives? If not, they need they need to listen to the show more often.
It's just a tough argument when it goes through the city.
NP Dodge is developing executive office suites in its recently renovated 3-story mixed-use building at 8601 Dodge. So this is the very, very long horizontal building. And the interesting piece of trivia about this building, Trenton, is?
It is the retaining wall for Leo A. Daley.
Yeah, if it were not for the 8601 Dodge building, the Leo A. Daley building above it would go down like houses built along the cliff of a California coast.
Dodge and Company did a fabulous job of totally bringing it up to date.
Yeah, it's a great looking building right now. We have one of the NP Dodge residential real estate offices in it, and we are talking with a bunch of users for the first floor.
Big medical tenant going in there, too.
Big medical tenant. But this is going to be really cool. So this is the type of thing where if someone is looking for that small furnished office that already has utilities and internet and, like I said, the furniture, you just want to get in and get started.
And they're addicted to Starbucks.
Because there is one close by, and that is one of the top 5 sales grossing Starbucks in the entire district. That whatever that district is that Omaha Starbucks are a part of. So leasing is now underway, and these offices will become available March 1st. So that's one of those deals that if you want to get out of your basement office, you might want to consider that. All right, we love talking about transportation on this show because it's critically important to keep our economy powered and our city growing. This is not a huge transportation catch, but it's a nice one. Minneapolis-based Sun Country Airlines will become Eppley International Airport's 8th airline when they begin twice-weekly service between Omaha and Minneapolis-St. Paul starting on May 26th. Now, they're just going to do this in the summer, and it's only going to be 2 days a week. Sun Country is hubbed out of Minneapolis, and they really specialize in, from what I can tell, taking Minneapolis people to vacation destinations or other business destinations. They're just doing the summer because there's probably more, visiting families between Omaha and Minneapolis, people going to the lakes up there, whatever the case may be. But it'll be they'll run a 737. So it's nice to get another airline. The other thing is Delta flies about 3 or 4, depending on the day, 3 or 4 direct flights from Omaha to Minneapolis-St. Paul every day. And I've always felt that the fares between Omaha and Minneapolis were awfully expensive compared to other destinations. Maybe something like this will help a little bit. I'll tell you what, it's good to see another airline, even if it is only just seasonal and a couple days a week. I would love to get Air Canada to come back. It was great when they were here, and it was a shame they didn't make it for very long. I wonder if after we get post-pandemic, if something that might be more of a possibility. We'll certainly welcome them. So we've got a land deal in Sarpy County that could be kind of interesting. Royal Land LLC, which is affiliated with King of Kings Lutheran Church, has sold 38 acres of industrial development ground to Willa Amazon LLC. That's a local company that's planning on developing it, most likely into an industrial building. It's right at Highway 50 and Prairie Corners Road. That's immediately north of the massive 2.1 million square foot Amazon Regional Distribution Center. So basically, these 38 acres were left over. King of Kings Lutheran Church had owned about 130 acres or so.
Thinking that they're going to develop a big campus.
Yeah, they bought it long ago.
And then all of a sudden, industrial land prices went crazy, and the demand was out of control. And we've seen all these data centers come.
So the church presumably was thinking, hey, we might as well, get a massive increase in our value here.
And kudos to Brian Hartman and Todd Schneiderwin in our office, who've worked for several years with King of Kings and helping them in the disposition of all these parcels.
So we don't know for sure what's going to go on this 38 acres, but it's our belief and understanding that it'll probably be more industrial buildings.
And it's a private developer, not Amazon.
Right. So that's our news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about industrial development in that area by the Amazon Regional Distribution Center and toward the southwest. We've got a couple other things up our sleeve when we come back as well. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing and Siding. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid, and we're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center as well as D&M Roofing and Siding. Eric Obrumt and his team at D&M do such a great job with both residential and commercial roofs. It doesn't matter whether you're looking for a new roof for your house. They'll do a great job. Trenton himself used them a couple years ago for a brand new roof on his mansion.
Perfect job.
Yeah, did a great job. And then they also have top-notch commercial services. And so whether it's a warehouse building, office building, retail, they can do all of that. And if you are a commercial building owner or property manager, definitely check out their preventative maintenance program. Second to none, and we highly recommend them, dndmroofing.com. Well, Trenton, in the last segment, we were talking about a piece of land that sold near the massive Amazon Regional Distribution Center. If you go just south of that, you have industrial parks that have come in by R&R Realty. You have the Google Regional Data Center. You've got Facebook, and it looks like there's more to come.
Well, there's another large development, about 160 acres, that's owned by Hubble Real Estate Company out of Des Moines. They're doing a lot of residential development as well, but they've got an industrial facility there. And Brian Hartman and I just put three approximately 80-acre tracts. It's a local prominent family that are farmers and built up a portfolio of properties. And we were fortunate enough to work with them and their advisors. And the first of the three parcels is about 80 acres just south of the R&R Commerce Park, just west of Facebook, and it's 156 in Cape Hart Road. This is right south of the Hubble development, and we have huge interest in this piece. This is probably more industrial. The second portion, if you go to 174th Street, that would be the southwest corner of 174th and Cape Hart Road, another 80 acres. And we have serious buyers already lined up for these. They're still available, but I would not be surprised if these go off the market really fast. You just have so much infrastructure in place. You have access to the interstates. You've got a lot of vendors. You've got a lot of speculative industrial developers that are looking. And then there's a third portion, a third parcel, which is a farm. This one's more unique. It's 19901 Giles Road. So imagine 204th Street, Highway 6 in Gretna. And this one will part of it will become part of Dam Site 19 with the Natural Resources District. So whoever buys this will be working with the Natural Resources District, but they should have roughly 30 acres more or less for residential development, lakeside property, and that kind of stuff. And you've got a number of neighborhoods. You've got Remington West, Remington Ridge, Bellbrook, Highland Point, and you've got a lot of services going in, not too far from the new Hy-Vee that's going in at 192nd and 370. And you've got a couple high schools not too far away. So if you're looking to develop land or looking for an investment, call Trenton Maggot or Brian Hartman at NAI MP Dodge. But it's amazing putting these on the market right now, Jeff. People talk about how maybe the economy is slowing down or development, but there are a lot of developers that are looking for their next project, and we're hearing from them, and we're also talking to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a very short matter of time in which the entire area, bounded by Highway 50 on the east, 370 on the north, Interstate 80 on the west-northwest, and call it Fairview Road on the south, is completely filled in. I mean, Steel Ridge,
at least in developers' hands.
In developers' hands, and probably under construction or at least being graded. It's not going to take too long because Steel Ridge South, which I don't know if you mentioned that one, but that's where Ratello's is going to build a 200,000 footer. You talked about this HRC Industrial West, R&R Realty's doing this Commerce Park South, the data centers. I mean, if you look at the map that we have in front of us, which you can't, but we can, the Facebook data center land that's shaded in there is more than a square mile that they control just for Facebook land.
If you take these, if you find these brochures or call us, we'll give them to you. Go to the Brad Williams construction video on our YouTube channel or on our website, and you will see the thousands of residential lots. You see the roads, the infrastructures. He labels them up. And just to see the growth throughout Omaha, not just the southwest area in Sarpy County, but Omaha is well posed for growth.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing great, and we've been growing a lot lately, but the amount of construction that is underway or just getting started is really impressive. For instance, a couple things come to mind. In a couple of years, you're going to see a lot more cranes in the air than you have right now, and there's already quite a few. And then you mentioned Brad Williams' construction video that just came out earlier this week. He has plenty of commercial projects that he shows in there, but he goes heavier than normal on residential subdivisions that are, say, in Papillion, Gretna, the area between Elkhorn, Bennington, and some even down in Bellevue. And Trent, it's just one after the other after it goes. And here's this development, and here's this project, and all of these have at least hundreds, if not over 1,000 houses per. It's just massive.
But you also see the up-to-date. You can actually tell where the roads are going in, if they're not already in, and the rest of a lot of the other infrastructure. The other thing that he captures on there is a project that's near and dear to my heart. I've got 3 commercial lots at Southport East, which is right next to the major Nebraska Multi-Sport Complex. People are playing competitive sports on these field turf, the former sod farm known as the McDermott Sod Farm, approximately 120th and Giles Road. This is right to the east of the Southport PayPal, Securities America, and everything that's going on over there. So that development area is just taking off. Go check out those sports fields.
Hey, one last thing about that video. At the very end of it, they have some cool footage of when they fly right by the Woodman and the First National Towers downtown. And speaking of towers downtown, before we wrap up for the middle of the hour news, the W.Dale Clark Library is gone. Now, the demolition does require several underground pilings to be removed, so they're not done demoing below ground, but any remnants of the above ground building, it would be gone. So we are getting closer to that January start date for the Mutual of Omaha skyscraper. All right, we're going to take our middle of the show break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a neat development that is very encouraging for Exarban Village. And we'll also talk about Trenton's vacation to Grandscape, the Nebraska Furniture Mart development in the Dallas area. So some cool stuff ahead. Don't miss any of it. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot at your service. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Trenton and I personally endorse Dingman's Collision Center if you have any car repair needs. And so it happens all the time. You're out there in the demolition derby that is rush hour in Omaha, and sometimes something unfortunate happens. Sometimes it's not even as dramatic as that. It's you're at the grocery store and you go back to your car and you realize some son of a has scraped your car as he or she pulled out of their stall and didn't even bother to apologize or leave their information. What do? You got to get that fixed. And so you just go to Dingman's, and you can choose from 4 locations. And those locations are in Northwest Omaha, on Saddle Creek in Midtown, in Papillion.
144th and Industrial Road.
And 140. I should know the 144th and Industrial Road because that's where I took my car after I had a car accident
I was
a few
just
years
with
ago.
Andy Dingman, who runs the place, and they do a fabulous job. Him and his family and their whole team. They turn cars around.
We love Dingman's. Dingman's Collision Center, sponsor of Grow Omaha. It's time for your commercial real estate development spotlight, brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies is basically, they become the development company of record around here. I mean, when you're thinking of a company that does big time developments, you're thinking of Noddle because you got Steel Ridge, you've got 180th and Dodge Mixed Use Center. You also have the Village Point Medical Center there. You got Rivers Edge, Builders District downtown, and of course, Exarban Village. And as is the case a lot of times during this segment, we're going to be talking about something pretty cool at Exarban Village. A while back, Toast, the restaurant point of purchase software company out
You
of...
see them all the time in your server's hands.
Well, yes, you do. They're out of Boston, Massachusetts. That's where they're headquartered. And they decided to do kind of their very first away from the headquarters major office was in downtown Omaha. Yep. And they went into one of the twin towers of Central Park Plaza. And I'm sure that's a lovely place. But they decided, we're going to move to Exarban Village. And they did. And they leased 50,000 square feet at 1926 South 67th Street. That's the very long 3-story building. On the ground level, they've got Herb Sant, Roast Coffee, Pickleman's, Oklahoma
Is that
Joe's.
where Gordman's headquarters was for a while?
Gordman's headquarters was above. So Toast is up there now. But here's a cool thing. Because of that 50,000 square foot office lease, office space in Exarban Village became fully 100% leased for the first time in the development's history.
That's impressive.
There's a lot of office space there.
Especially now.
Yeah. And in general, office space, not only in Exarban Village, but Omaha-wide, despite all of this work from home stuff, vacancy rate's not that high.
Right.
It's in pretty good shape. And that's your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. You can find out more about the fine people at Noddle Companies by going to noddlecompanies.com. Well, we recently sent our friend Trenton on a fact-finding mission to the Metroplex, the big metro area in the Lone Star State, to visit Grandscape, which is the massive development anchored by Nebraska Furniture Mart in Dallas. Trenton, tell us about your trip.
I want to kind of put this in perspective. So in 2010, after Jeff and I had a real estate company called World Group, and we were fortunate to get a colleague or intern at the time, and then a colleague named Ryan Blumpkin, who's 4th generation Nebraska Furniture Mart. So we've known Ryan for a long time, and to watch him grow and to watch him just excel has been amazing. So we've kept that relationship, and since 2010, he's been working for Nebraska Furniture Mart, and they started going down to North Dallas area. It's called the Colony, Texas. They assembled about over 400 acres. And to give you a perspective, all of Southport, east and west, each side of Giles, where Cabela's is on one side and PayPal is on the other side, Secures America, all of that's about 237 acres. So almost twice the size of that whole area, and it's a lot more flat. And with Berkshire Hathaway's partnership and Nebraska Furniture Mart and Ryan and his team, they have amassed it's a 1.9 million square foot Nebraska Furniture Mart that I think opened around 2015, along with there's a Shields down there. That Shields is 331,000 feet. Then you've got the total build out will be about 3.9 million square feet of retail, entertainment, residential, dining, and other attractions. And you go down to Grandscape now, and I went down in 2015 for the launch of Nebraska Furniture Mart, and Warren Buffett was down there speaking, and it was a fundraiser. I bid on his ukulele, and I promptly got outbid, and I think I stopped at 1,000 or two, and I think it was up 30,000 or more. But you've got a 7-acre lake with a boardwalk. You have right now there's about 38 restaurants
in Grandscape.
Okay. You've got a number of parking
and In-N-Out Burger is one of them.
In-N-Out Burger is definitely there. That's been there for a long time, and you have a number of nicely done parking garages that are kind of buried. You don't just see them; they don't look like big, albatrosses and things like that. But everything is connected really well. The amount of landscaping and LED signage, a lot of the signage is artwork in and of itself. You've got a 14-story apartment complex, Grandscape. You got a couple more going up. Some of these restaurants can be 12,000 feet. There was a place called the Puttery. We went. I reigned.
They're coming to Omaha.
Puttery?
Yeah.
Awesome. So indoor putt type places. There's a Mario Andretti. It's probably about 90,000 square feet. It's not only like 3 levels of electric go-karts going up and down. They also have arcades, like a giant Dave & Buster's or something like that. And then what's really cool that's going to come to Grandscape in 2023 is a place called Cosm. And Cosm is a technology company that, imagine taking a planetarium where there are in a lot of different places. It's an immersive experience. So whether you're watching sporting events, concerts, nature presentations, guests will experience an immersive content through their proprietary dome and curved LED screen display, 3 stories of seating and standing space if you want. And it's going to bridge the gap between virtual and physical realities.
So this is in the North Dallas suburbs. It's an amazing place. It's anchored by NFM. Did you talk at all about NFM's plans for a new store in Austin, Texas while you were down there?
Yeah, they already have 400 acres, not 400 acres, about 135 acres down in Dallas, and that's about a $400 million development. This one, Grandscape, when they fully build it out and they're well on their way, is like $1.5 billion.
$1.5 billion. That's pretty cool. And to think NFM started right here in Omaha.
Yeah, so I'm very proud of my friend Ryan Blumpkin and all the folks at NFM and Berkshire Hathaway for doing these projects.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And hey, will there ever be a time in which NFM is capable of taking down properties next to their Omaha campus and building some cool attractions around it? Time will tell.
Well, they just did the Floor and Decor.
Yep.
They allowed that, and that's on their land.
So we're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, it'll be time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round, and I'm looking at the list. A lot on there, things that you're going to want to know. Saturday night cocktail party ammunition is just around the corner. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. It is time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of Grow Omaha news in a short period of time. Turner Construction is one of the biggest and most effective construction contractors in the world. And they have a major presence here in Omaha, really have just kind of adopted Omaha and wrapped their arms around it, working very hard to provide outstanding finished products for Omaha clients. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about the biggest of the big, like the Sarpy County Data Center, which has over a mile of land, a square mile of land, or if you're talking about bank build-outs or retail build-outs or doing something for your company's office. And the team in Omaha, Turner Construction Nebraska, just easy to work with, take their work seriously. And the company is famous for its ethics and how they treat their employees. That's really important because that all, trickles down into the actual built product that they deliver their clients.
And they're looking for employees.
Always looking for good people at Turner Construction, and we appreciate Turner being the sponsor of the Lightning Round today and every day. So I mentioned before that Puttery, Trenton was talking about Puttery, and I said, coming to Omaha. We've heard rumors that they're coming. I shouldn't have said it like, they're coming. We've heard rumors that they're coming to Omaha, but then super producer Roger Olson looked up their locations list online, and the markets they're in are a lot bigger than this one. So maybe it's just a rumor, but maybe it's true. If they do end up coming here, we told you so.
Yeah, nobody listens to the retraction, Jeff.
And if they don't end up coming here, we never mentioned anything about that. So let's go through some of the things we have on the docket for the Lightning Round this week. First of all, Trenton, fried chicken fans rejoice. Church's Chicken has opened near 168th and West Maple Road, back in the Omaha market after no Church's Chicken for decades.
Everyone give Church's some love. It's just north of 168th and West Maple Road. That's property that we developed.
Didn't you do their lease?
Over the last 20 years, sold them the land for a client and subdivided some land, but that was the last project I did out of the 145 acres that we originally developed, and it's right next to Walmart. And Church is a great product, good operators. He moved his whole family here, and I hope they do well.
Chains out of San Antonio, 870 locations in 26 states. Tropical Smoothie Cafe, which has existing locations in Gretna and Papillion, actively looking for sites in Central and West Omaha. The Lululemon store at Village Point is expanding into a 5,000 square foot space immediately to the west of its current Village Point store, which will mean it increases or more than double its size. And then meanwhile, the future Lululemon store at Regency Court is still under construction in the former Paradise Bakery space. Andres Tortillery in One Pacific Place has been closed for a while, and that was for a major renovation. That renovation is done, but they're not opening yet because of staffing shortages. These restaurants are having a tough time getting people to come work for them.
The tortilla maker is ready.
Yeah, we just need to have more of them. And then Andres will reopen. Bath and Body Works, as well as White Barn, will open a joint store in a former Panera space in the Eagle Run Shopping Center, 132nd and Maple. The renovations are already underway. That Eagle Run has attracted a lot of stores that typically would maybe be more mall-like stores.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw that news.
Yeah, because like Ulta opened there recently, and you have Sierra Trading Post and Home Goods and all this sort of stuff. So they seem to be doing really well. I suppose there's no mall in
that
far northwest Omaha.
Yeah, northwest quadrant.
So what do you do? Kanara has opened in Regency Court. This was the Indian restaurant that was wildly popular in Old Millard, and they decided to move to Regency Shopping Center there in the far southwest corner of Regency.
That's a Moda V space?
Yeah, in the old Moda V space.
Ron Samuelson, I like that.
Yeah, that was sad that place didn't make it. Russell Speeder Car Wash has opened at 4625 North 90th Street. And for you who are fans of Kopp's, be happy. The original Kopp's Pizza Company has reopened in its original location, 72nd and Jones by NFM.
Really?
After being closed for a while. Yeah. And that's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Turner Construction, Dingman's Collision Center, and D&M Roofing and Siding. We'll chat with you next week after Thanksgiving at 9 o'clock a.m. right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.